What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy, Uncle Rza. A very tired Uncle Rza. Man, I clocked like 15 hours today, but I still got time to show Sony some love, baby. So, without further ado, let's dig into the topic at hand. Sony has come forth and hit us with a gem. And I want to say a gem. I want to say they're doing the right thing before Uncharted 4 comes out and Digital Foundry gets a hold of it. And then they get exposed in YouTube land and then ready to conference and ready to reply statements. Before all of that happens, they're coming out and they're saying, hey man, this shit only runs at 30 frames a second. Whoa. Whoa. Now, hold on. I'm choking on this joke. So, let me get this straight. I really want to get this straight. There's a history to be exposed here. Sony, in their rightful quest to 25 million consoles sold, was quick to point out that the PlayStation 4 was so much more powerful than the Xbox One and so much more capable than the Xbox One. So much so that Sony went out and said and put their credibility on the line, whatever credibility they had, because I don't think they had much to begin with. They said all PlayStation 4 games will run at 1080p, 60 frames a second, and the fanboys goes wild. Roar, roar. The Xbox fans are like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? The PC guys are just like, what? Motherfucker, my $500 graphics card can't even run every game. But Sony's gonna do it. And this shit started to fall apart quickly, guys. I mean, they started to lie about Killzone and they said it was 1080p, and then they got exposed and they said, well, it wasn't native 1080p, but the way we did the math, it equaled to, like, shut the fuck up. Really though. Then the Order 1881, I never get that number right because it's just not a memorable number or a memorable game. These fucks came out and said, well, because we live in Williamsburg, the artistic expression is everything to us, and this game is gonna run at 24p, 24 fucks per second to capture that movie-esque experience. But when Crytek, the guys from Rise, when they said Rise was running at 24p, oh, the Xbox is not strong enough. They only got 24 fucks per second. Ha, ha. But when Sony says it, oh, it's art. It's fine art. Yes. Have some hummus and the Order 1882. Why don't you? But anyway, none of that matters because, like most people, I buy a PlayStation for 2 games. Or I would like to think most people, right? Because I think most of the world is like me. I buy a PlayStation for Gran Turismo, number 1, and then Uncharted. So I couldn't give two shits about any of the other shit in between. Everything else is a plus. You know, I really don't get into the madness. You think you're gonna catch me playing Knack and telling you all about how it's gonna revolutionize gaming? Don't worry, guys, I got the video coming on that shortly. But anyway, Uncharted is we get to see a teaser of Uncharted, and right before the teaser, it's big and bold. It says rendered on a PlayStation 4, and it looked crazy. E3 went wild. That was last year. Then the gameplay came out a few months later, and people started to say, wait a fucking minute. What the trailer was, or what it looked like at E3, does not look like the gameplay they're showing us now. And this was what I like to call the watchdog syndrome, except there is no conspiracy here, right? You see, with Watch Dogs, they were showing us the God version, the PC version, for so long, and then these consoles came along, and there's a conspiracists out there who believe that Ubisoft is not gonna jeopardize their relationships with Sony and Microsoft, so they dumb it down so as not to make the PC version that much better than these $500 and $400 brand new consoles. People would get hip to game, and that would be a shitstorm. Whatever. This Uncharted is owned by Sony, made by Sony, and published by Sony, and hyped by Sony. So I don't quite understand why the degradation in quality from what they showed us. Now, remember I said it bright and bold in the beginning of that E3. It said rendered on a PlayStation. And here they go. Oh, this is why the PlayStation's so much better. Power. P-O-W-A-H. Power. Okay. And then the gameplay came out, and it was like, guys, that's not what we saw. And then no one really said anything. Everyone swept it under the rug. We acted like we didn't see that. We acted like the end of the actual gameplay said gameplay footage, whereas before it said rendered on a PlayStation. So in all actuality, they got up on stage in E3 and lied to everyone, make everyone believe that it was gameplay when it was just corporate talk. Rendered on a PlayStation. What the fuck does that mean? If I take a video of some fucking was that game called Black Light or whatever the fuck that crazy game is, breaking graphics cards from a PC, I download it and then play the fucking video on my Xbox and record that, I have the right to say it's rendered on an Xbox? Come the fuck on. But anyway, moving forward to today's news, the lead designer, who is the designer in the lead, working on Uncharted 4, has come out and said it will be 30 frames per second. Whoa. Oh no. Hold the fuck on. Stop the press. Stop the madness. So let me get this straight. Shout out to Snow. Snow knows his shit. When Snow saw that gameplay, he said something ain't right. And then the gameplay again that we saw on this E3 2015, that gameplay didn't look damn near nowhere close to either one of them. So something's up with this game. Something's definitely up. But I want to pick your brains for a second out there, YouTube world. What's going on here? Sony set the standard to be upholded by all consoles, all current gen consoles. You must have enough power to run 1080p 60 frames a second. Meanwhile, damn near none of their games hit that milestone. Maybe Drive Club, but I don't think Drive Club counts for much because that game is totally and utterly shite. That's shit with an E at the end. So I don't get it. They set the gold standard. They set the interwebs on fire, and the benchmark has been thrown forth, and they can't even reach their own fucking benchmark. These fucking buffoons. Meanwhile, you've got The Witcher 3 over here running at a faster frame rate on the Xbox One than the fucking PlayStation 4. And you guys mean to tell me that the extra horsepower in the PlayStation 4 means something? Come the fuck on. Uncharted 4, 30 frames a second. You fucking failed, Sony. You failed. The game that was supposed to be the leader of the free world has failed. And you know who it failed by, whose expectations, whose measurements, whose yardstick, whose benchmarks it failed by? Your own. Yikes. I'm out of here. Peace.